everyone, my name is Emily and I'm the young adult librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and today I have a book for you for our Manga Monday, and that is Flying Witch. So in this book, person on the cover, this is Makoto Kawada, and she is in high school, and I mentioned this, probably I've touched on this topic before, but Japanese high school is 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, so it's 3 years. And Makoto has come to live with her cousins up in Aomori. I believe she is from Yokohama. And Aomori is kind of northern and rural, and it's just a very different part of Japan than where Makoto is from. And she arrives on a day where there's still like snow on the ground. You know, it's spring. Spring is when school starts in Japan, specifically April. And so even in April, it's like, oh wow, you know, she's looking around like, okay, that's a lot of snow yet. And here she meets her second cousin. They're actually second cousins. This is Kei. And this is her cat, Cheeto. Cheeto goes where Makoto goes. And they go back to Kei's house. And basically, Makoto hasn't been here in like 6 years, and she is pretty well known within their family for not having a great sense of direction, so she gets lost a lot. And yeah, literally, like when she meets her little cousin Chinatsu, this is, you know, what she knows. This is her frame of reference, because it's like, oh yeah, you know, Ma said the one who gets lost. So Makoto's already sent her stuff ahead, and you can see in her room, she's got all these boxes. And I mean, what happens next is that Makoto is in her room, she's talking to Cheeto, her cat, and Chinatsu is outside. She's come to like bring, I think, a futon mattress or a blanket, and she hears this conversation. So she goes back to her brother, who's like getting curry ready for lunch, and it's like, hey, did you bring the futon to her? And Chinatsu's like, yeah, how long is this person gonna be staying with us? And Kei's like, you know, I don't know. She's going to be going to school here, so probably a while. And Chinatsu's like, well, she's just a little bit creepy. And, you know, just tries to explain, like, she was talking to her cat. Like, lots of people talk to their pets, but this was more like a full-on conversation. So, you know, Makoto comes into the kitchen at this point. It's like, oh, you know, lunch smells good. So they have curry. And afterward, basically, you know, Chinatsu's kind of like watching Makoto, and Makoto sees her like, okay, you know, just fine, you know, this is my little cousin. She's naturally curious about this new person. And what ends up happening is, in spite of all of her luggage, Makoto still needs some things and needs to get to the grocery store. And Kei's like, well, I'm not sure you'd make it on your own. It's a little, you know, it's a bit of a walk. So he says, well, Chinatsu can take you, which she's not thrilled about, because again, this is someone who, you know, she just overheard a weird conversation with a cat, and Chinatsu's thinking, okay, I don't know if I want to be alone with this strange person. And Kei, you know, just kind of convinces her, like, come on, go, you know, you can do this. And Chinatsu says, fine, I'll go if you buy me a donut. So Makoto's like, okay, I'll buy you a donut. So they go, and Chinatsu's just sort of, again, like a little bit puzzled, like, okay, so where are you from? And Makoto says, oh, I'm from Yokohama. And it's pretty close to Tokyo. You know, this is kind of a famous vacation spot in Japan, so it's a lot more populated than Aomori. And they go to the store, and, you know, get their donuts, and, you know, Chinatsu's happy. She's like, all right, I've gotten a snack out of this deal anyway. And it's at this point that Makoto, you know, they're walking around near some brooms. Makoto's like, oh, you know, I need one of these. I'm going to check these out. And Chinatsu's sort of puzzled, like, okay, why would you need a broom? Like, there's cleaning stuff at the house. We live in a house with things already, like brooms. You don't need to buy one specifically for your room. That's kind of strange. And so at this point, Makoto, you know, she's kind of testing it out. And what she does is she actually steps up and she starts floating. And this is when Chinatsu finds that, oh, her cousin is a witch, which you could maybe guess from the title, but this is Chinatsu's introduction to Makoto's powers. And So at this point, Kei goes to visit his friend and classmate, Now. And Now is, again, they're in the same grade. She and Makoto end up becoming friends. But the first impression she has, like Kei even says, Makoto's a little bit eccentric. Now it's like, okay, I don't know what that means. Well, then Makoto explains by flying up to Nao's house on a broomstick with Chinatsu, who is just so delighted. Like, we were flying, we flew in the sky, did you see? And Kei's like, yeah, I did. You were probably surprised because you didn't know this. So, yeah, Chinatsu is now delighted that Makoto has come to live with them for a while, at least for, her high school career. So, Now, is surprised, certainly, because she's never seen a person fly on a broom. And we see now, it's the first day of school, like this kind of, Now and Makoto, they become friends, if only because Kei, he decides, okay, it's the first day of school, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. You guys should walk home together. And Now, is like, all right, fine. But Makoto's like, oh, why won't he let me meet his friends? And Nao's like, oh, he's just like that, And they agree, like, this is just how Kei is. He's always been like this. So these two are walking home, and Makoto's like, oh, I'll be right back. I see something I want to give to you as a gift. And it's a mandrake. It's a mandrake that screams and screams. And it's this thing where Nao doesn't want this as a gift. Like, why would you? If you weren't a witch, if you have no use for this, it's like, what is this terrible thing? It's supposed to be a token of friendship. Well, it looks very scary. So these two, they kind of, as they become friends, Now sort of understands that, okay, Makoto's a witch. She has these ideas, different ideas maybe than a non-magical person would about what makes a good gift. And in staying with her cousins, second cousins, I guess technically like Kei and Chinatsu's parents, they're her mom's cousins, I believe. So that's why they're all second cousins, the kids. Makoto decides, okay, I want to start a garden. So her uncle's like, yeah, okay, let's, we got to clear the field. And so there's, a part where they're just trying to pull up weeds and get this ready for planting. And this is an important thing, as a novice witch, Makoto's just trying to kind of learn, like, where her magical specialty lies. And this becomes a thing later in the series, as she learns more spells, she kind of gets more into a sense of, this is what I'm good at, this is the kind of magic I'm going to try and learn and focus on. And it's just a very funny series. You have Makoto, she's grown up around regular people. It's not totally like a fish out of water thing. It's more like urban person who happens to know magic moves to a rural area and kind of has to get used to this new life. But I mean, Makoto's mom, I believe, is also a witch, and her whole thing is, hey, I get it, you and your sister are both talented witches, but we want you to at least finish high school. Like your dad and I, we want you to have the option to have a regular career if you want to do that someday. So you got to finish high school. So that's why Makoto has come to Aomori. And in getting close to, this part of her family she's not seen in many years, they start to learn a lot about magic. Like, for example, this is the Harbinger of Spring, who kind of scares Chinatsu because it's like, what is this dude with, like, this mask? This is not, like, the most friendly visage you could imagine. And luckily, this guy, he's perfectly nice and just wants to bring the spring. That's why, he ends up giving Chinatsu some flowers. Like, hey, I'm just here to make the seasons change. It's fine. And here's Akane. This is Makoto's big sister. And I'm actually reading volume 10 of this series now, and, like, Akane hasn't been home in a while, and she's very tan, to the point that her mom is like, hey, you're super tan, and, like, I know you like looking that way, but, like, when you get older, you're gonna have age spots. Wear some sunscreen. And it's like, okay, Mom. So Akane has been traveling, and she, in hearing that Makoto, finding out that she's gone to live in Aomori to continue her training as a witch, she comes and shows her this cool spell. Like, all right, you're my little sister, and we're both witches. I'm going to show you a cool spell. And it's a spell that summons birds. And, okay, yeah, it's basically you're supposed to put, like, the hair from someone's, just take one strand of hair, throw it in this fire with the spell also thrown in. And it's just supposed to summon one bird, but if you use a witch's hair, you're going to get a lot of birds. And to this point, that Akane's like, well, okay, work hard, study, I'll see you later, which she has that way of doing things. She kind of teleports, or, you know, she has this magic where she can just like come and go as she pleases. Like, she doesn't have to travel the way most of us do. If she decides, all right, time for me to leave, I'm gonna teleport, bye, and she does that. So if you enjoy manga, this is, I would say, a lot of manga I talk about, they fall under the heading of the genre Iyashike. Iyashike is like healing or healing type, and this is very much a series where it's funny, like it's a humor series, but it's also very much slice of life. You know, there's magic, but the main focus of the series is just Makoto and her family having fun times. And you know, it's the start of the school year in this volume. By volume 10, it's summer vacation. So Makoto and Akane have gone home to visit their parents, and it's just a lot of like, all right, you know, we're gonna do some magic, we have to maybe, like in Makoto's case, she's taking part-time jobs. As the series goes on, she becomes more skilled, she gets paid to do different types of magic, and she's thinking, all right, well, I'm on vacation, I'm gonna like visit with my friends from junior high, but also, you know, we're gonna investigate this weird thing for a job that we've been assigned. So it's a lot of fun, and it's just, you know, the magic of actual magic, but also the magic that is there in daily life. And if you're looking for a fun series that, again, it's just 10 volumes out. I think volume 11 comes out in January, so you can read them all at your leisure. We have them all at the library. And thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.